Hey everybody, this is Kathy Podwell, Judy from Night of the Demons, and you are listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. He tells great jokes. He's a great guy.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming a very talented, hilarious lady who you all remember from the 1990 cult classic Troll 2, Deborah Reed. Oh yes, she is, I don't know what you'd call her in that movie. She's like a troll queen, troll witch, something along those lines. I just know she's the villain. I know that. And I'm having her on the show today to talk about that movie, its legacy, and how it's become somewhat of a bigger cult hit than the original was. And talk about how she did that. I know she did a lot of theater in the musical spectrum back in the day. And I was reading her bio. She did a movie that never got released with Tony Geary and Ann Archer that I want to bring up to her as well. And she also did makeup for Dumb and Dumber, which I think is hilarious. I got to bring that up to her as well. So, here is my interview with Deborah Reed. Hey, Deborah, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yes.
You?
It's pretty good. It's very hot over here in Redding, California, but I'll live.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. We want you to live.
Yeah. This is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yes.
Oh.
So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting early on in your childhood?
Good.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I can remember, I was putting on little plays for people and, acting things out. And in grade school, put on a few little shows for different things. Yeah, I've just always been kind of, in a way I was shy on one hand, but as soon as you put me like on a stage or something, I've always, been able to just go for it. And always had a very campy type nature and like to come up with crazy characters and I've done that pretty much all my life in various ways, so.
Yeah. Camp gets such a bad rap, and it's so wonderful.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I never understood why it got such a bad rap,
Well, it takes all kinds of us to appreciate, things, but aren't we glad that there are so many that do have a love of it? So, at least I've been blessed by that.
Yeah. Everybody's got their own subjective tastes, I guess.
Yes.
I see you played Yvette in Pillow Talk. Is that where you were like, I can do this?
That's funny. That's interesting. I mean, I was very shy in high school, kind of just had my own little circle of friends. And, but I did, I took a drama class, and I remember I was asked to get up and do, I think something from Romeo and Juliet, and that's what I was given, or I chose that, I don't know. But anyway, I remember somebody that I admired that was in the class said to me afterwards, she said, wow, I wish I could let go the way you do. And that really did kind of strike me. I thought, well, that is pretty cool. But I mean, I had been doing things before high school just on my own, and I knew that I just always had a love of that, to be able to get up and make people laugh, make people cry. And but that was probably my first, if I think about it, actual in front of a large audience when I did play Yvette. And I remember I had a hard time kind of grasping a French accent and had to, kind of struggle with that a bit, but I kind of finally caught on to it, and that was fun, definitely.
Yeah. And I see you moved from Utah to California to Spokane when you were young.
Yes, when I was in the first grade is when we moved to California, so I lived there between first and the 8th grade, and then we moved back to Utah. And that was a wonderful time in California. Have great memories of that. That's where I put on my first little act, there in grade school.
Yeah.
And so loved that. And I didn't move to Spokane with my folks until about a year after I graduated from high school in 1969.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, let's see, before that, I did do a small part in a movie, and just was asked to do it, and that was fun. I'm trying to remember the name of the actor. Oh gosh, he became a very, very famous.
I know who I know what you're talking about. You talk about the movie with Tony Geary and Ann Archer.
Tony Geary, thank you. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, that's right. And what was her name? She
Ann Archer.
Ann Archer. Yes, she went on to do some wonderful things, and they were both incredibly sweet to me. And it's interesting. I don't think that movie ever got off, the real floor, as they say, or off the got out of the canister for some reason. But that was a fun experience. And when I moved to Spokane, that is when I got into theater, and then I started, like local theater, and then I started writing my own things and producing them, and got them into some local things, and got a taste of that. And but that I was in one production, I remember, where I was so shocked. I remember suddenly being aware of the audience crying, like, sobbing, and I just had to almost catch myself from giggling, because that really struck me, the powers to be on a stage or to write something and be able to hear that. That's amazing. It is the most amazing thing now to hear an audience laughing their heads off, something you've said or something you've written. Really, really quite a thrill. And so, yeah. And then it was when we moved, I guess, back to, I ended up getting married, and I had a sweet child, and moved back to Utah. I'm sort of driving the show here, aren't I?
No, it's okay.
But it was fun because one of the first things that happened to me is I went on a trip to Vegas,
mm-hmm.
and hoping to get on a show. I happened to see a show like Hollywood Squares, but I was sitting in the audience, and they came and they solicited me and asked me if I would try out for Hollywood Squares, which I said, well, okay. And I went, and they had us sit in squares, the people auditioning, asking some questions, and that was fun. And the next thing I knew that I got on the show, and I was fortunate. It was amazing. I was on the show with like Paul Lind, and some other great people, and that was just absolutely so much fun. And after that, I had a neighbor. She said, you really should audition for an agency that I'm with. And I said, really? Think? Mm-hmm. And I did that, and I auditioned with a really marvelous agency that was well known around the country and even around the world. They had, people doing things, and I did, and the very first audition I did, it was for a commercial. I was able to be in, and that was the agency I was with when I auditioned for Troll 2. So,
wow.
Yep.
That was amazing. You got to do Hollywood Squares. Oh my God, Paul Lynde, he got away with so much on that show that you couldn't get away with now.
Yeah, I guess so, but you know what? It's interesting because I was sequestered from anybody else for quite a while. I couldn't see my family. I couldn't be with anybody for the show. And so they were I think they had started getting in trouble for, doing whatever, I don't know, game shows were doing. But they were very careful on my show. But I did win the show, by the way, and I need to find it. I keep saying I will. I know I have it somewhere, the VHS tape, because when it did come on the air, we recorded it, and it's got all the fun, all that, and the whole thing. And so one of these days, I really have to look for that and put that online. Put it on I have a blog. I haven't done it for quite a while now, but that would be really fun and to share with people because it was great. It was so great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I was reading that you were doing musical shows like Oliver and Hello Dolly, and that you heard a lot of crying and nose blowing from the audience.
And that was actually not some nose productions. Those were some productions that I had done of my own.
Oh, okay.
That's what shocked me is when I realized the power of being able to write. I love to write and to be able to perform and make. And that really shocked me when people were wailing in the audience because I did some sad tale. I think my father was dying or something like that. But I mostly like to make people laugh. That is the most thrilling thing, no matter what I'm doing. And later, after Troll 2, I ended up having a production company. And so what I loved doing was producing funny ads, many of which I would put myself in. And my then sweet husband, we did that together, and we also produced a show called It's All About Home. But anyway, I just love, and I did like zany characters that I've always loved to make up in my lifetime,
Oh, you're certainly good at that.
Yeah, that's why Troll 2 for me was the dream come true to play it, and I was able to just really let loose and be crazy, and have fun with it. Yeah.
So when you got cast in Troll 2, were you in Utah or did you live in Los Angeles?
No, it was in Utah. That's where everybody, auditioned, and
right.
I was, as I said, I was with a party agency, and I believe I know they did, this Italian troupe, they came into town, and they asked to look at books for all of the agencies, around town, and McCarty was one of the top agencies, but so anyway, they chose my picture out of the book, as well as, they didn't know it, but my son, Gavin, was in the book, in the children's section, and they didn't know we were mother and father, mother and son, and they chose both of us to audition. So the day of audition, we went up, and it was in a big hotel in Park City, and I walked in, and it was really like, wow, there were people just sitting against the wall, lined up. I mean, it looked like thousands to me. I said that on an interview recently. I thought, I don't know how many were really there. It looked like thousands. There's hundreds, definitely hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And so we had to just wait like everybody else. And when I think he went in first and came back and said, they asked me to make a lot of weird, crazy faces. And say a few lines. And I said, oh, that's fun, you know.
Yeah.
When I was called in, they gave me some of my most famous lines, and later on, you know, and there were quite a few of them in the room, and they could barely speak English. And I remember they opened the door to the small room, and they blew a huge fan on me, so my hair was flying.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked out the door, and there were all these people watching me, other auditioners, I believe. And so they gave me the line, and I'm trying to think of it, and it escapes me now. But I really just gave it every gusto I had and let loose with it. And they seemed pleased and let me go. And later, you know, got the phone call. And I remember I told Gavin, Gavin came in the room, and I said, Gavin, guess what? I got the part. And he said, oh, I'm so happy for you. And I said, guess what? You did too. And he played, if you look at, on IMDb, on the Troll 2 page, they're playing the trainer for Troll 2. And Gavin's very prominent in that. He's the one that throws the baseball that says something about eating you or something. Anyway. Yeah. And then later, he gets to pull all those crazy faces when the preacher is in the old barn and, you know, talking to everybody and talking about disgusting things, and the townspeople are groaning and making funny faces. And anyway, he said that Claudio said, you make great awful faces, you know. So anyway, the fun thing about Gavin being in it for me is because the times that I was filming, I was only, you know, I got to be with my little flower, Darren Ewing, and the cute girl, I can't think of her name right now, that's Cynthia Reynolds, I think that's what it was. But anyway, she's the one that, that is drowning in the goo.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, I got to be witness to a lot of the other things happening because Gavin was there. And so, you know, that was a great experience for me because I got to see much more than I normally would have.
Yeah.
And also, not only that, but get to know some of the other characters, like George. I wouldn't have even been around him, but I made some wonderful and dear friends for life, you know, through that experience.
Yeah. Did you see? Did you see the original?
Did I see the original?
Troll.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
The first Troll movie.
Oh. Well, you know, when it was first released, it came out on VHS.
Right.
And it was, which I have several copies, and it was, you know, with Troll, the original movie, and then Troll 2, which is hilarious because everybody knows that Troll 2 had nothing to do with Troll.
Yep.
But it's because we had the VH, you know, that, yes, of course, we watched that, and it was great fun. And, you know, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, of course.
Yeah.
That's my claim to fame with her. I just feel a bit of little tiny, you know, because I love her so much.
Mm-hmm.
She was in that, and yeah, it's a great B movie. You know.
I love it. Yeah, I've seen it probably more than the second one. I love it, and I talked to Ann Lockhart about it. She told me it was the most fun she ever had making a movie because she got to do all these exciting things in Italy. She got to meet the Pope and stuff, and
that's awesome.
It was fun. Yeah, and do you know why Empire didn't make Troll 2?
No.
Yeah, I never heard that story either. That's why I was curious.
Oh, you mean? Okay, say that again. I'm not sure I understand. Empire?
Empire, the company that made the first Troll. Do you know why they didn't make Troll 2? Because I never heard that story as to why.
Oh, well, Empire had nothing to do with Troll 2. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
Is that apparently, there are different stories that Claudio Fergazio, he's, the one that did Troll 2, for some reason they thought calling our movie Trolls, I think actually it is because, Troll 2 has nothing to do with trolls. That's goblins. That's also the funny, weird part. But I think they tried to call it goblins, and they weren't able to, due to franchises and those stuff. But then they called it Troll 2, I think because they thought it might have some slight connection to Trolls. The original movie,
Yeah.
It's not original because it didn't have anything to do with Troll 2. It was just completely different scenarios, and that they got linked together because of what they called the movie, and then putting it together, on one VHS tape.
Yeah.
It's all kind of strange and wonderful,
Yeah. Credence, what would you call Credence? Would you call her like a troll queen or a troll witch? I mean, she's definitely the bad guy, of course, but would you call her one of those?
Well, yes. I mean, the mantle troll queen, our troll queen, has taken over my character, Credence, and I'm known by that far and wide, very much troll queen. But I'm also kind of known as a goblin queen, but more as a troll queen. And it was actually Rosella Drew that was married to Claudio. She actually was mostly the writer of Troll 2, and she called me the queen, and queen of the trolls, queen of the goblins, and so that actually comes from her. And I love that, And, pretty much, yeah. I think I was like the mother of the goblins. I call them my children. My children!
Yeah.
And so I think of them as my children. And, fondly, And, I think she did an excellent writing it. Actually, people say it was so terrible. But I really do believe, she's very funny and very wonderful to speak to and talk with, and I got to know her fairly well. As well as I could in a short circumstance, but even over the years, we've all stayed friendly. But I know that she knew she was writing something silly, if you will.
Yeah.
That she was trying to have some tongue-in-cheek in those lines. A lot of it did come through the funny translation, definitely, because, mostly they were speaking mostly, Italian around us as we were, filming and telling us what to do. Now, Claudio had somewhat of a grasp. He could, speak to us somewhat, but, a lot of the lost in translation from Italian to English just turned out to be funny. It turned out to be funny and campy, just that alone. But she knew what she was doing. I believe that. And so when I read the script, it was like I hadn't really met her, and I thought, wow, this is crazy. This is pretty funny. And so, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. You steal this movie. Your various stages of appearance are just friggin' awesome. Your introduction scene alone reminds me of The Witch and Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that. Love it.
Yeah. How long did it take to do those various makeup changes?
they took a long time. At least it felt like it. I mean, it was, you know, different ones. You know, I went from going kind of creepy looking, well, of course, to my old lady, you know, that was one thing. And then I kind of got creepier and creepier, scarier and scarier till my face was, you know, in the end, you know, sort of melted off. But, oh, sorry, spoilers. Anyway.
Did you?
Yeah, it took hours on part of it, and I am allergic to certain, you know, things like grooves and that kind of a thing. So that was kind of, you know, awful for me. But the harder part was taking it off.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't take it off till I got home at night. And but there were some funny things where I had to go to the grocery store on my way home. And I remember walking around and people looking at me strangely. And I remember one of the managers one night, he came up. He was afraid to approach me, and he said, ma'am, are you all right? And I don't know if I've told anybody that, because that was really funny. And I said, oh, yeah, I'm fine. You know, and went about shopping, and that was funny.
Oh, that's funny, yeah. Did you scare any of the children on the set with that makeup?
No, I think everybody was pretty much, you know, in the mode. They knew what was going on, and, you know, with goblins walking around everywhere, you know. And I'm just I've scared children opening my door on Halloween, because I've always loved to do pretty wild stuff, and I've definitely made children cry, and then I feel bad, and, oh no, it's just me, it's all right, you know, but, yeah, I don't think anybody was scared on set.
I mean, even, you know, with that first one with the glasses and the teeth looking all gross and stuff, even that you look gorgeous with that on.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That was fun. That was fun. Yeah. People, they just, yeah, my teeth were pretty gross, and I couldn't figure out. A lot of people thought, watching it, that I was wearing braces or something, but no, they just put some kind of gross get up on them. Worked fine. Yeah.
That corn on the cob scene is so funny.
Yeah.
With that song, it sounds like you can leave your hat on.
Yeah, you could call it funny. Yeah, you know, that was one of the first things I actually had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a bit of a surprise because it didn't quite read like in the script like it ended up being, you know. Mm-hmm. And that walk down the mountainside, I believe that was in, that was filmed in, now I'm trying to remember, it was not Park City, but, you know, somewhere thereabouts, up in the mountains and mountains. And it was freezing cold. Mm-hmm. And I did have, most of my scenes were one-shot wonders, you know.
Yeah.
But that one I had to do, I think, maybe at least 3 times. And I was literally, my teeth were chattering in between because I was just frozen, you know. I didn't have all that much on.
Yeah.
And I remember I would come down the descent of the hill after that, and they would throw the blankets around me before I had to do it again. And I would just, and then I'd have to just take a deep breath and stop, you know, chattering, and, you know, come down the hill. And then right after that, I had to go into the trailer and do that scene, and I was still chattering with cold. And first thing that happened is I was doing my first line, you know, and I had to walk into the trailer, excuse me, And there goes my voice. And the door slammed on my fingers. Really. And they had to rush and put, there goes my ice on my fingers.
Oh, boy.
And then again, the show must go on.
Yeah.
You have to go in and do that scene that you're all aware of, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was crazy. It was so crazy, you know. And he said, do this, Claudia. Do this, do that. Stand here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was just kind of otherworldly. And then they turned on the popcorn machine. Then the popcorn machine broke. And and yeah, it was some weird machine they come up with. It was just made popcorn go flying everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you go.
Wow. And I heard Conan O'Brien's a big fan of the movie.
Who?
Conan O'Brien?
Oh, Conan. Yeah, Conan O'Brien. Yeah, he talked about it on his show. Yeah, several talk shows hosts have talked about it on their show. His is the only one I actually saw. But yeah, and but Conan held up the movie. I think there was one where I was on the cover because there were several versions that came out, and I was on one of those first covers, and yeah, that was cute. That was fun.
That's crazy.
I have become aware of numerous celebrities that are fans of Culture. Pretty funny.
Yeah. You guys made a documentary about it, right?
Well, I didn't, you know, but I didn't make the documentary, but it was Michael who played Joshua, you know, my little boy. And he actually was the one that made the documentary, and then George, you know, got involved, you know, with him, and of course Jason and, you know, Dan. They did travel around, you know, doing it, having fun. And I was, at the time, I told you before, I was like 24/7. I was involved in producing a TV show, and also at the same time, you know, making these TV ads. And I was just totally swamped. They were saying, "No, please, can you come do this? Can we do it? Can we do it?" And I thought, not yet, not yet. I just couldn't do it. And it was in the 11th hour. It just about to, you know, go in the can. And I finally did do some interviews with them. But they are only on the version. They didn't get to. They're on the you know, the DVD version. And that they aren't, you know, the, like when you watch it, you know, on TV or, you know, when you watch it. So that was fun. There was one thing that got in there, I think, that I noticed. I did do a funny thing where I had my teeth worked on. They asked me if, you know, I could do a thing with our wonderful, you know, George Hardy, who is a dentist. And so that was fun. He was talking to me, and I was in the chair. I think a portion of that is on the actual, you know, thing. Yeah. But
I'll check.
That would have been fun had I been able to do it. But, yeah, it didn't work out. So, wish I had, but, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing to watch. Yeah. It really is.
Did doing Troll 2 hinder you from getting other roles?
No, you know, actually, no, I did, you know, a number of things, and I was mostly working as a professional model, you know, early on when I was with McCarty, and I was also an instructor for them. I did teach acting, and I taught modeling and photos. and I did, did a number of different things. I got to do The Stand with Stephen King, a few things like that.
Mick Garris, yeah.
Yeah, I had several things lined up, and I took another job where I wasn't able to work at all. It hindered me from it. But then when that was over, fortunately, that is when, so 12-2 was before that. It was right before that, before I took that job. That's right. 12-2 was right before that. That hindered me from really being able to, and it's interesting because during that time I went to I think it was the 10th reunion of Touched by an Angel. And I had just auditioned for that right before I took this other job. And I saw Martha. I went to this big bash that was for Touched by an Angel. And I met the stars and, the celebrities, and it was really fun.
Yes.
And that was, but Martha, I can't think of her last name now, she did she did the writing, a lot of that, and she did the auditioning, but she said, oh, we wanted you so bad for a part in Touched by an Angel. We really wanted you. And I said, oh, yeah, I did miss out on some things, But anyway, after I did that job, I worked in a congressional manner, is what I was doing. But anyway, then I did a radio show for a while, and then I worked as an artist, as a mural artist. I started doing that because that's something I really have a passion for, is art, and I was doing that. And then, I just got involved in some things, and about that time, I think I was divorced. I had a really hard time with that. I was very sad and upset. And for a little while, but then I met a wonderful guy, and we married. And he's the one that he had been a radio guy, Randy Holman. He was a wonderful guy, and he had the most beautiful voice. Very handsome guy and a wonderful radio voice. He's been doing that mostly all his life. And anyway, then one day we said, why don't we start a production company, On Fire Productions? That's what we did. We just had a blast. And sadly, about 9 years later, I lost him to cancer. And so I had a wonderful life, doing that. It was so much fun producing our own things, writing our own things, and getting to be as campy and wonderful as I wanted to be in that kind of a fun role. So here's my life story. I haven't told that to anybody else.
Have you ever thought about writing a memoir?
I thought about it. Boy, howdy, that would be a lot of work. I mean, for years and years and years, I've been writing children's books and then never finishing them because all these other things kept getting in the way. And I was bound and determined to finish, and was really close. I was writing a children's book called Slump, and kind of a funny book for kids, and and several other books. So close that then I became ill, and I was, about over 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I've been having fun with that for the last few years. But, doing pretty well at the moment amidst this COVID. I haven't been doing my treatment, and I'm actually feeling pretty good at the moment. I'm not going through that.
Yeah. I'm so sorry you got diagnosed, because you are I can just tell talking to you, you're a wonderful person, and it's just so sad when that happens.
That's so sweet. Well, I'm doing my best I can with it, and I have help from my family, and actually my son Gavin has been a tremendous help when we talked about it to me, and so, the best thing I love is this camp and everything else is I love to laugh, and I laugh every day. No matter what's going on, I try to find things to make me laugh, and Gavin sure makes me laugh. I have wonderful other family, nearby. My son Remington and his beautiful wife Christy, and my two beautiful granddaughters, and they're all so wonderful, and they really keep me going and having fun in life. And so, life is good. I like to live in gratitude, and I'm very, very grateful to everyone involved with Troll 2. It really, truly has been a blessing in my life, and because the fans are the absolute best, and they come from all different types of, walks of life.
Right.
And different, just it's the cutest and funnest thing in the world to see, that have been loyal, and the way they write to me and tell me how Troll 2 has actually blessed their lives, made them laugh and happy when things were tough for them. And, it's just quite an amazing road that I've lived with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And great guys like you that enjoy fun stuff like this, and, still enjoy it and want to bring it to life.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to ask. Did you do makeup for Dumb and Dumber?
I did. Well, I was one of them, not the main, that's another thing I forgot to even say. Yes, I was a makeup artist all those years. I did a lot of TV, did a lot of film, and but that's one that I happened to, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Anything specific you remember?
Well, I didn't get to be in, on that one. On some other films and a lot of TV films, a lot of different things, I was right in the middle of things, But that one, yeah, they put it on my IMDb that I was there, but I wasn't right in the middle of things,
Yeah.
There was more, not the main actors that I got to work on, so it was other people,
Yeah, I always find inaccurate things about that with people, and I always feel bad about it because I don't like to bring up stuff that's not accurate, But I wanted to.
I don't think I will say this, I don't think I've ever mentioned this to anybody, but one of my favorite actors that I worked with, and I worked with him several times, and I don't even remember the name of the movie we were doing, but it was John Ritter.
Oh.
And John I've got goosebumps just talking about him, and maybe even brings a tear to my eye, because he was one of the sweetest people.
Yeah.
And, gosh, I worked with a lot of actors. I really did. And some would surprise you that weren't quite as sweet, as you thought maybe they would be, and then others that are just, oh my gosh, we're the nicest people in the world to work with, right?
Right.
And, but anyway, John Ritter was so adorable. And I remember it was like between scenes, people in the business, they call about hurry up and wait, because, when you're between scenes, you're sitting around for hours and hours, right? Mm-hmm. Waiting to go on or waiting and that kind of a thing. And I think, but anyway, I was sitting there for one of those books I was telling you about, right?
Right.
I still hope to finish one of these days, but anyway, I was drawing some of the, graphics for the novel, and some funny little, characters or creatures, like little monsters or something. And I was sitting there drawing, and he sat down next to me, and he said, "Oh, may I see that?" And I said, "Oh, well, sure, And he wanted me to tell him all about it. And he was so cute. And he said, "You know what? My children would just love this. Would you send me a copy when you're finished?" And he wrote down his address. John Ritter wrote an address. I still have that, by the way. And I said, "Well, sure I will." And you know what? One of my biggest regrets is I never did, because I just didn't feel it was good enough. I just never quite finished it. I never sent it to him. And but I still have that scrap of paper that he wrote it on.
Aww.
It really meant a lot to me that he was so cute about my work, and I should get it done just for that alone. I should do it, in his honor. And I do have a blog. It's called Deborah Do Tell. DeBaDotell. Deborah Do Tell. Do Tell.
Deborah Do Tell.
If you go on there, I do have a section for my book. Mm-hmm. And I do have, it shows copies for covers and that kind of a thing that I hope to finish. But it also has a Trunk Queen section, which I have done some things, and I really will get back to that. I think I shall. I'll go on there and I'll mention this podcast and that kind of thing. So I've got to get back to it because I've just got away from doing it. I do other things on there, but that's the part that I really want to keep doing. And, you said you should write your memoirs. I should write some stories, and maybe I will, have time to put together a memoir.
You should, yeah, because you never know how much time you have, and it's...
Yeah, we don't. None of us do, right?
No, I had a car accident 5 years ago, and I spent 30 days in a coma, and I have, I mean, I'm 37. I think I do have time, but there's a lot of, I keep everything in the back of my head of procrastination, of getting a book done in the future. And my mother, she's 66. She's been writing a book for the last 5 years about my journey,
Good.
Yeah.
No, that is exactly right, and I'm thankful you're okay, and none of us do. I mean, when I first got sick, I was diagnosed, but I put off doing anything for a year until they told me I'd be gone within a few months if I didn't start treatment. And so I said, okay, I did. But it was a bumpy road because I've had a lot of reactions, medications, and had some hard times. But that right now I'm doing pretty well. But none of us do. It could be tomorrow one of us that we're never expecting to go, and that's why I love to appreciate every moment of every day. And, it's funny about the things we grumble about, and I even realize, why is my computer going so slow? And I have to stop and think, gosh, I'm thankful to have a computer that can go slow. Lots of things like that. It's all the little things that do affect our lives, and so that is very true. And our house almost went in a fire about a year ago, and very, very close behind us. And we were gathering things up, and my son was helping me and kind of throwing in bags. And what I was throwing in the bags were, pictures, photographs, and grabbing albums and things. And after that, I thought, my gosh, what I need to do is take the time to photographs of those pictures that me and those photos and all of those things mostly take time to tell the people that mean something to you how much they mean something to you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. God, that is just amazing what you've persevered and you've made the most of your life, you know? It's very inspiring, I have to say, Deborah. And I wanted to ask you, since you like to laugh, would you like to hear some jokes?
Well, choose a clean shirt.
Oh, I don't think I have any clean jokes in my repertoire.
Well, how about I tell you my favorite movie?
Okay.
You can tell me your jokes if they won't burn my ears.
Okay. What did the elephant say to the naked man?
Let's see. What did he say? You better throw yourself in my trunk so you'll be decent.
No. Man, how do you breathe out of that thing?
That's naughty, but that's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That was funny. Okay, now I'll tell you. I'm just going to tell you my favorite all-time movie actually is Lord of the Rings. Oh, there you go. But
It's funny.
my favorite, what?
It's funny you mentioned that because the original Troll had a Harry Potter motif.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. Allusions to Harry Potter.
Is Lord of the Rings, but Harry Potter is in that same genre. You're right.
Exactly.
And I remember noticing that later on, and that is really funny, isn't it?
It is.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, and now I feel terrible because I can't think of his name, but several years ago I did I did I can't even think of it. That is so weird. Yeah, stuff just escapes me now. That's terrible. I'm old. I did a Comic-Con, you know.
Yes.
And, but then I don't think it was actually the Comic-Con. One of them, the Comic-Cons, I think it was a Comic-Con. I don't know, Michael and George and Darren joined me, and it was really fun because we did a Q&A thing.
Right.
I've got pictures of those. I need to, post a lot of the stuff I've done, and that was so fun. But it was a different one. It was not a horror con. I've done those. Or at least I did one sort of in Sacramento with Darren. It was a con. I can't think of it. But anyway, they had it wasn't Lord of the Rings, but it was one of the ones that came after that.
Right.
What was that? One of the actors, though.
Narnia? Could be a Narnia movie.
Oh, no. It was up the Lord of the Rings franchise,
Sean Astin, Elijah Wood.
Actually, yeah, I met, see, my brain doesn't work immediately. It just doesn't come to me anymore. I'm kind of dying, But it was one of them. It was
Elijah Wood.
Not Elijah. It was one of his counterparts. One of his, anyway.
Sean Astin.
Nope, it was the other one.
Viggo Mortensen, Ian McKellen, Christopher Lee was in it.
No, I'd love to admit.
John Rhys Davies.
No, that's funny. I need to go on my computer and find him. I have a picture with him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I was able to go backstage. He was about to do a big
yeah.
But anyway, I got to start with him and talk to him. Had a thought, so I had a picture with him. He was just absolutely so sweet. no, it was another one that was, yeah, oh well, I guess, you know what, I'll write about this stuff on my blog, and you'll have to come, this will be a teaser for it, you'll have to come and look at some of those, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I was about to tell you, though, my favorite two funny movies of all time.
Yeah.
And one of them is Young Frankenstein.
Oh, love it. Love it.
So that's my all-time favorite go-to laugh out loud, or Goblins laugh out loud. I love that, you know. LOL.
I tried to get the last surviving member of the cast on last year, Danny Goldman, and then he just died a few months ago. I was so disappointed.
That would be a disappointment, because yes, wasn't that just the most amazing thing? Well, unless my mind escapes me, Phyllis Diller was on my Hollywood Squares.
What's your other movie?
And she was in, oh, well, never mind. You'll have to catch up with me on some of my other stuff.
You said Young Frankenstein, and what's the other movie?
Napoleon Dynamite. That's my other top favorite movie.
I like it. It's not my favorite, but I like it. It's funny.
It's definitely one of my favorite. If you want to know my humor, there you go. Young Frankenstein, number one, and then Napoleon Dynamite.
Are you a John Waters fan?
John Waters. Oh boy. Tell me. I sound so familiar.
Polyester, Hairspray, Crybaby, Pink Flamingos.
Well, I know him when I see him, but I can't.
He's the master of camp, and he does very inappropriate things in his movies that people would get hung in Hollywood if they did what he did in movies. He's a genius. Really? Yeah, he's the Pope of Trash, they call him.
Oh, gosh, no, you know what? I'd have to, if you showed me a picture, I could look him up here really quick.
He's got a mustache. He looks like Little Richard with the mustache.
John
Waters.
Come on. Oh, you know, I probably have to see him in some older things. Now
he's never changed. He's always looked the same.
Yeah, he looks so familiar, but yeah, I guess I haven't just grasped onto him as this.
Wow, that's amazing. That you don't recall. He's a legend. Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, because he does look so familiar.
You've been in Utah too long.
Oh no, Utah's great. No, it's very diversified and amazing. Well, I guess, you know, I'll have to watch one now then. But,
yes.
Yeah. But you know my humor by telling you, you know, my favorites. But, you know, and I love old B movies, horror flicks, and...
Of course. I want to be a horror host, you know. That's the trajectory I'm on. And I hope I get to do it. And hope I get to show Troll 2 and have you come in and be my guest.
Wow, that would be something. Yeah, I'm sort of quite the homebody, you know, for quite a while now, but especially, of course, now, you know, with what's been going on with me, but especially with the COVID thing going on.
Of course.
If people are watching this, like 20 years from now, or listening to it, yeah, COVID-19, look it up. Right?
Yeah.
That's during this podcast. That's right.
Well, Deborah, I thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, well, it's truly been my pleasure. And just absolutely a delight, you know, to be with you. So,
yes. I just think you're so amazing and inspiring, and I hope you get through this. And I hope you have a great night over there. And like I said, yeah, write that book, because I think a lot of people would love it.
Well, that's sweet of you. I will try. in between. I really would like to finish Flump, and I hope it to like Flump has a lot of little ticklers, you know, like throwbacks to Troll 2 that like people might get a kick out of, you know.
Yeah.
Just people that know Troll 2 would get it, you know, that kind of a thing. But you're right. I should, you know, definitely do that. And but yeah. Oh, I just saw a thing. It was Fantasy Con where I did the thing with my castmate, my castmates in crime.
Yeah.
A bad crime. Yeah. That's where we did that. I have some pictures of that. But anyway, and the other one I was talking about was The Hobbit.
Yes.
Yeah. But I feed myself with these guys, but can't remember their names.
It's okay. It's okay. You have yourself a great night, Deborah.
But anyway, yeah. Well, I like to give shout-outs to people like they need a shout-out from me. LOLGLOL. But anyway, I've had a wonderful time, and it's been good. You know, treated me well. So,
oh, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
My pleasure. You have a great night over there, and stay safe, and you know, stay healthy because we need you.
Oh, thank you, and that's so sweet. I hope people will join me on my Troll Queen. It is you go green with the Troll Queen, but it is just. I think if you put Troll Queen on Facebook, I'm there. I'm also on Twitter. I'm on other places, but what's the other one with pictures? Anyway, those are where I've been most active, but I'm active everywhere. But anyway, yeah.
Have a great night.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, goodbye.
Well, there you have it. Deborah Reed. Ain't she a sweetheart? What a wonderful lady. So inspiring and persevering and living life to the fullest. I'm very honored to have talked to her. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Till next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.